G'day, g'day, g'day. It's Mathematical KM, Keith Malumbi. After yesterday's Club Champs game, where I showed what happens when you do what you know not to do, I thought I'd throw in a 10-minute game on chess.com. Usually I only play these with the school kids and the Gungahlin Gambiteers, and those ones aren't for rating. So this was, and they're 15 minutes, ready for the same as their school champs coming. But here's a 10-minute no increment game that I threw in, and I actually wouldn't mind a little bit of feedback on move 7 or even the lead up to it, because it's a slightly unusual setup that black goes with, and just looking at how I modified the Hippo, I think it worked quite well, but take some feedback. So here we go. Starting with the usual first two moves, and then instead of the D pawn, which would be more typical, we've gone with the E3 move, with the black bishop coming in to threaten the F2. As we look at the opponent's gameplay, they really wanted F2. But they tried a little bit too hard, and in the end, to their detriment. So let's see. So we've blocked that off with E3. They want F2, all right. Here comes the queen. This is a slightly unusual setup, not really covered in Solomon's course, but it's a little bit offbeat. So we've got the queen coming, threatening F2 down there. It's only the queen for now, so I can move the D pawn. So we go D3. They support their E pawn. I move my A pawn instead of the B, looking at playing B4 with tempo. Pretty typical. They've sent a knight out to an unusual square, H6. That knight is coming in to again be looking at F2, but no panic stations yet. So let's flick in B4 and move that bishop on with tempo. But nope, in comes that knight. We've got the knight and the queen on F2. This is coming into the first non-Hippo type of a move. I need another piece than the king to defend F2, so let's throw the queen in there. The computer likes it, but we'll see what Solomon thinks. Now they need to back the bishop off. Let's say goodbye to that knight. And we've basically fianchettoed my the bishop. Pretty much got a thick-skinned Hippo with one pawn slightly more forward in reaction to black's fairly strange queen out that far. And even more so now. Everything's right except you put the queen back and put my G knight to E2, and that would be exactly the case. So this is the equivalent right now. This, I guess, would be the breather moment. With looking at black, they haven't got two pawns in the centre. I've already taken some space on the queen side. He's got a lot of firepower on the king side. So I'm thinking about castling to the queen side at some point, if not right now. And let's see. I thought, let's move that knight on, and at this point, computer doesn't like it, but I'm hoping to win the B pawn and then come flying back with my bishop. That's what I was thinking. So, any feedback on that choice after the breather moment? I wonder what knight GF3, develop the knight, was what the computer wanted. But I've gone for let's try and win a pawn. That B pawn, and I'm going to get the B pawn, but I'm going to get a bit more. I'm going to get a rook as well, and I'm not even sure what the next best right now move is for black. Can he arrange to take my bishop after it takes the rook? Maybe it's not that easy. That'll be the first part of it, but like a thief in the night, bang, got that rook. And that little bit too late to take the bishop comes back. And the computer liked it coming all the way back. Popped off to grab a rook and a pawn. Not bad. Black's taking a bit more of a claim in the centre. And I thought, you've got to give your opponent... And the computer doesn't like it again. Is it a cheap trick or is it a good idea to... giving black the chance to take my f-pawn, releasing my dark squared bishop to take his queen, which is another way of saying he cannot afford to move, be it by forwards or taking. His e-pawn is pinned to the queen, so I've attacked it. I like that move. Computer wanted a4. Protecting my b-pawn, which isn't under threat yet, so maybe time for that later, and just taking more space over there on the queen side. But I've gone a little bit more attacking that e-pawn, and indirectly, playing to threaten his queen. He moves his queen away, getting rid of the pin. So his e-pawn is now free to move. And I move my g-pawn forward, so the pawns together are stronger. And if nothing else happens, what I'm seeing is the potential chance of a pawn fork, if I can get my f-pawn one forward. And if not my f-pawn, if his e-pawn takes my f, well, my e-pawn can become an f-pawn, keeping that dream alive. And also cramping his queen and that knight, basically attacking with the pawns. Bit of a pawn storm. So he takes, I take back. Now I'm threatening a pawn fork. And there you go. He didn't move either the bishop or the queen, and you might have noticed that he couldn't move the bishop. It was a short time frame game. Maybe the queen could have... If he'd moved his queen, and I moved my pawn forward anyway, then that bishop was trapped anyway, unless he'd managed... Oh, I'm just trying to think. If he'd moved his queen to f6, I could have then moved my pawn forward. He could have checked me with queen to h4. I had to deal with the check, and then maybe then done something with the bishop. Anyway, it would have been a better try. As it is, he's given his bishop a path out, but a move too late. Here comes the pawn fork. So he gets a pawn for his bishop. 2 pawns, actually. So 2 pawns for the piece. But I'm certainly up a little bit of material now, +7. So trades are good. Trade down, win the end game's what I'm thinking. And also what artillery's got is largely the queen and this knight over on the king side. His dark squared bishop is certainly aimed at the king side. Let's get out of dodge. Castle queen side. King moves away, and I've got the chance to bring another rook into the action. And I think the computer actually liked it. It was the best move at the time. So picking the right castling, not something I always get right, but so happy with that. Now, black's panicking and throwing pieces forward from what I can see here. Not sure why that wasn't called a complete mistake and not just an inaccuracy, but certainly that knight does not appear to be protected. So well done for pouncing. He's moved a knight away there. Let's swap bishops. And what I saw now was, again, something I'm happy with myself about. Offering a queen trade, which will be good for me. And if he declines the queen trade, I pick up a knight. So, not a bad move. He declined the queen trade, pick up a knight. Now, perhaps, honesty here, I hadn't totally looked at the why. He should have been more, why did he put his queen where he put it? But had I evaluated it, it's not checkmate. If anything, I'll have half a chance of trapping his queen in there, or at least forcing the queen trade. And it's at this point where I'm up plus what? Is it 13? Blacks wave the flag, the white flag. So, happy game. And unlike my previous video where I showed what happens when I do what I know not to do, even with the move 7 of doing something that's not quite part of the course but is in the spirit of the course, I think that was a smooth game, doing what I am meant to do with a little bit of innovation where it was required, and got to be pretty happy. There's the graph, you can see that's not bad. Played at 1600, so that's pretty good. Not that you can really trust this stuff. 92% in the opening and 87 in the middle game. So score 1 for the mathematical KM, and the old ELO, which has been stuck on 1080 or whatever for ever so long, only playing the not for rating games on the Thursday nights with the college kids. I might start flicking in the odd competitive 4 ELO 10-minute games just with the people out there, and we'll see where the rating ends up. Okay, bye for now.